Her name is Daphne. I found her on a dying website. Picked her because she was cheap, but I don't want her anymore. It's almost like my throat swells up around them, and nothing good can ever come out. Years passed by alone, and now I just feel unwanted. After a while, it makes you feel disgusting. I can't even try to talk to women now. I don't think there's a point anymore. I haven't touched a woman in a long time. It's hard to talk. I just needed a body. I knew she couldn't love me, but she couldn't reject me either. That's why I bought the sex doll. I didn't need someone to argue with me. I didn't need someone to impress. When I bought her, the skin was rubbery to the touch. She felt nothing like a woman, and it made me flinch. I could be as rough as I wanted with her. I didn't have to please her, and I didn't have to ask. She said their fingers caressed her like swarms of flies, like something that came to the dead. It was very different from what sexual encounters I've had, but it honestly didn't take long for me to find my way inside. She was warm and so still. It only got worse with time, until every time I touched her, she spoke. She had blonde rubber hair, blue rubber eyes, and a wide gaping mouth. But it really started after my first time with her. Then he slipped off his skin and killed her. My knuckles bounced back from her rubber head. I could be as rough as I wanted with her. It wasn't a bad thing to do. Daphne is only an object. Even though she talked, she never cried. She never asked me to stop. She just whimpered and told me what the other men had done to her. I think she had talked to me the entire time, from the moment I brought her inside my house. But maybe I wanted the warmth of live skin. Maybe I wanted someone who could cry. After a while, it just wasn't enough for me. I just didn't hear her at first. Her skin yielded under my fists. Her stomach folded with my punches. Her limbs were too long anyway. She was too thin. The things I could do to her were like nothing I've ever thought of before. I told myself she wasn't a real woman. Every part of her body was welcoming. No part of her could say no. I needed to touch her, ravish her. I imagined her as a real woman. I thought of the warmth of her skin and of her blood. I thought of pulling stringy hair until she cried and taking her fingers one by one. You think he'd be grateful I fed him? This man ate me whole. The ways I could hurt her were nothing I've ever experienced. Her torso lies stiff on my couch, cold like the dead. But then I reminded myself Daphne was a doll, and it didn't hurt. When I felt her rubber skin on cold nights, she reminded me of the dead. When she was down to her torso, Daphne looked at me and said, I hadn't realized at first how long her limbs were. His body twisted as he struggled to remove it, like a shedding snake, or how skinny she was. I knew she wasn't going to look exactly like a real woman, but Daphne was strange. I found myself in Daphne's company for days. I would fuck away my anger after work. Her body was so still. I had looked for the source of the noise everywhere, but there was only Daphne. Days went by before I realized she was making noise, but she never stopped talking. Or maybe his body wasn't important at all, and a monster could be recognized no matter what form it took. It was a soft, guttural whimper. It startled me when I first heard it. Her mouth didn't move, but every few seconds she released a strangled, animalistic sound. I could have chalked that up to something about the material she was made from, or the way my body pressed against hers. Daphne told me what the other men have done to her. She told me they took pieces of her, and they ate, but I didn't stop fucking her, and she didn't stop talking. Neither were the beatings, who I'd have to take care of in return. Daphne tells me she's a real person. I have to remind her she's not. Months went by, and I started to hit her. I would get angry, or upset, or sometimes I just wanted her to stop talking. Daphne said she knew a man who got all worked up when his wife burnt the roast for the company party. I asked her what she meant by that. Daphne told me she's a real person. I didn't stop hitting her. After a while, I just wasn't content with that. The sex wasn't enough. I wonder if his wife still knew it was him, even raw, and wet, and bloody. I didn't want someone who could reject me. I cut off little pieces of myself, and he ate them like leftover meat from a company roast. A year passed when I began to mutilate Daphne. I cut off her long fingers first. Then I took her arms. I took her legs last. His skin separated from his body with a nauseating ripping sound. It was loose, like clothes, and dripping wet. I asked her why she said that. Daphne told me. I said nothing. The next day I cut off her head. I didn't really think it would stop her talking, but I need to feel it. I needed to separate her into pieces. With her head separated from her body, her rubber eyes stared straight ahead. Daphne's head whined from the floor and said, "I fed the one who devoured me." And I told her she's not a real person. That was the last time she ever talked. Daphne isn't enough for me anymore. I think I'm going out tonight.